Good morning. Thanks for joining Sacred Space Sunday or listening to us on the podcast Nee-yah Center Engage, Educate, and Empower. I'm Mark Christmas, a Reiki Master and Director of Holistic Wellness at the Nee-yah Center. And next to me is Niyah Jewel, the founder and spiritual director of the Nee-yah Center. Right now, Nee-yah by definition means purpose and intention. Right, purpose and intention. So the Nee-yah Center presents Sacred Space Sunday. Our spiritual conversations intention is to engage, educate, and empower you. We draw insights from sacred texts, wisdom teachings across the ages, sages from the past and present, and universal ethical principles for practical strategies for transformation that create oneness, joy, and love. Our transformation model is insight plus application equals results, right? So we don't want you to just go, oh, wow, we want to give you a tip that you can take with you and apply to your life and get some results right away. Today's spiritual conversation is stop arguing for your limitations and thrive, right? Stop arguing for your limitations and thrive. All right, our program will include an affirmation, a posture of presence, mindfulness moment, a talk, and a conversation to engage, educate, and empower. Next, we will recommend the practice applying the insights and close with a prayer to take you into your day and days ahead. Right? Today is a very special day now, and we're celebrating 4 years of Sacred Space Sunday today.
4 years of the Nee-yah Center, and thus 4 years of Sacred Space Sunday. Yes, it is a big day indeed. And we say, good morning, Monty, someone who has been there celebrating celebrating community with us since the very beginning. So good morning, and we very much appreciate you, Monty the third.
Yeah, can you believe it's been 4 years? That went really quickly, huh?
It went really quickly, and probably should take an opportunity maybe next time around, next month, to take a look back at some of the topics we've covered, some of the people that we've had on board, and just do a canvassing of what's brought us here. And here is a great place. So thank you, and thank you for all of those individuals who have been with us from the beginning, those who have joined us along the way, and we welcome those who will find us in the coming days and inshallah years ahead. So big for us. Speaking of big years, something we've been celebrating, as have many across the world, hip hop's 50th anniversary.
I know, hip hop. Shout out to hip hop, right? Happy 50th.
Yeah, we've shared here that we have participated in different events, and I am just really, really thrilled that this so important, critical cultural genre, creative expression, is getting the accolades that it deserves. And we know that it is something that was born from a long history of African communities' expression, and that it will continue to evolve and unfold. So kudos to hip hop.
All right. There's been so many concerts. I can't even keep up with all the 50th anniversary concerts. I know New York has had a couple in Yankee Stadium. I think they may have some more coming. I believe I heard that there was still some more they were going to be doing there. I know Jazzy Jeff and the Roots have been touring doing the Force with LL, doing the Force tour. It's coming to DC, I think, in about a month. Was that right?
That's correct. That's correct. Next month in October. I think they said 2 more shows, so you may have to travel to see them, but it is worth it. It is worth it. And so if you aren't already, keep in mind that you can join us here live in the studio by sending us an email. You can cast us to your television and see us in big screen, HD, XD, I don't know, 3D, 4D. They've got, I mean, they continue OLED. I mean, I can't keep up with the technology in terms of clearer and clearer till we're almost virtually in your living room. So as the show used to say, live and in living color.
Right.
Through Facebook, through Twitch, through YouTube. So any of the social media channels that work best for you, that you can watch us live or engage with us in the future.
Yep.
And we are still celebrating birthdays for Virgos. And soon, starting September 23rd, we will be into Libra season. And we
Break
start
out
to
the
move into
scales.
these that break out the scales. And I've got tons of Libras in my life, always have. So something about Aquarian Libra attraction, starting with, one of my sisters is going to have a birthday in October. But Virgos, it's still your season, so continue to celebrate.
Yeah.
We got a banner for that. Okay.
They got 5 years, five more days.
Yep.
I
September
we had
23rd
one.
starts Libra season.
I don't
So
see it.
I've got it up.
Oh, okay. That's why I don't see it.
Uh, yeah, this is
Yeah.
what happens when you're both the host and the executive producer. So, as you see it looking like we're multitasking, it's only because we're multitasking. So happy
Right.
to have someone. Should anyone be interested in becoming an executive producer, if you've got some young person who's trying to get something on their resume and would like to support in producing a streaming broadcast, reach out to us, contact us, let us know. We'd welcome an additional producer to our show. So this might be a great resume builder for somebody that or a fun thing to do for yourself. So
Yeah,
certainly
absolutely.
anybody interested in supporting us in producing the show, give us a shout out, and that's, you can contact us for that and any other questions of support for spiritual counseling, to get some Reiki services,
Yeah, I just
whatever.
attended the Reiki Master 2 weeks ago in Baltimore. Shout out to Bridget Gibbs. Congratulations on your Reiki level 3 training.
And Reiki is getting more and more well known. You're seeing it in more spaces. You're seeing more people talk about it, which is great that the
What
energy
are we
is
seeing on the
circulating.
Shy? The Shy, we're watching the Shy.
We're
The lady
watching the
was saying she
Shy.
was doing Reiki there.
Yep, the Wellness Center on the Shy had psychological counseling, and across the room, the other person was offering Reiki services. So
Yeah.
the knowledge is spreading because that's what energy does on all things good. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to get into that a little bit more. That's what energy does. It spreads all things that are good. So get you some of that good Reiki, and call up Mark Christmas for more information, or email us at niahcenter@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
What else is going on? The next Sacred Space Sunday will be into a new month, October 1. Next Sacred Space Sunday is October 1st. So set your calendars and join us then. Tell a friend.
We're almost at the end of 2023. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it, actually. It is a wow. It is a
What
wow.
up,
It
Reverend
is.
Mitchell? Reverend Mitchell, what's going on?
Hey there, Reverend Mitchell, and certainly check out his page, and he's always got wonderful things going on. And you want to check out Reverend Mitchell's broadcast, his daily prayer,
Yeah.
our daily prayer group. You want to check that out. That's going to give you daily uplift and sustenance, and help you sustain and encounter anything that comes to your day. So if you're not following Reverend Mitchell, then I don't know where you've been, but you wanna check him out. And
I
for
don't
all
think he
you,
goes by Reverend Mitchell on social media, though.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
Jason Mitchell. You can find him there as Jason Davion Mitchell. Yes, yes. Good
Oh,
God
yeah,
morning to
the
you.
advertisement in his Facebook thing right there.
Yep. So check him out. Follow him on Facebook, and he'll let you know where you can catch him live. If you haven't seen him do a spiritual talk, again, you're missing out. But I know that there's recordings out there, so you can check those out.
Yeah,
What else we got going on? Let's move into a posture of presence.
yeah,
And
you got Keisha Dean out there. Good morning, Keisha.
good
We
morning,
appreciate you,
KGD.
brother.
Good
Yeah.
morning. Good morning, KGD. So wherever you are, whenever you are, find yourself checking in on your breath. taking this opportunity to just notice your inhales and exhales. No need to manipulate them. Just notice. Am I breathing a long breath? Am I breathing a short breath? Is my pace rapid? Is it slow? Does it feel forced? Or is it in flow? Noticing. Maybe you feel the air coming through your nose in and out. Are you feeling a need to breathe through your mouth? Blockages in your nose? Not judging, simply noticing. Is there tightness in your chest? Or does it rise and fall with ease? A flowing rhythm. Notice. And now, like me, is there a need to relax the shoulders, let go of all that came before this moment, all the weeks, the days, the years? I know I need to raise the shoulders, pull them back, and release. Let's just do that a couple of times. Racing up with an inhale and dropping down with the release. Letting go. Savoring the sweet feel of release. If you need to get in a couple of more, do that at your own pace. Start to feel ease, release. Releasing the eye sockets. Here, concentration is releasing concentration. Let the eyes be easy. If you're moving, easily scanning your horizon. Their clothes, allowing them to rest in the tranquility of closed eyes. If you're doing a soft gaze, relax into the slight view that's watching, yet not. Find your ease, your ease, your peace. Feeling your legs, their strength, their grounding. And for those who may have a disability where they no longer feel their legs, embrace those parts of your body that you can feel, knowing their strength, that they still provide you foundation and anchor you. And in whatever way that is physically your experience, feel your body, appreciate your body in all the diversity of states that body may present. Right now, we are appreciating our physical nature, this bodysuit that is carrying our divine consciousness, our energetic awareness that is a creative expression of Source God, that energetic expression contained in this bodysuit that is connected to all life here in this present moment and across realms divided by time and space. Eternal consciousness and bodysuits. In this now moment, we appreciate this physical experience. It's through this connection to divine source, to source energy, that I am grateful to be a creative divine expression here today in physical form, to be a channel for source, to bring forth my goddess energy in conversation about that which soothes and serves, uplifts, and feels good for all. I know that all is divinely unfolding, and I open myself to the connection that exists with all life. It is through this divine presence, eternal nature, source energy, that we give thanks for the shared time spent in oneness, love, and joy. And with that, as is comfortable, bring yourself back into physical presence, fluttering your eyes open, shaking out your body. Reveling in the energetic force that you are and that you have elevated by taking this moment to find your posture of presence.
So good. Thank you.
So good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for contributing your energies wherever and whenever you are that supports us in that time. So, Mark, I think that you have an affirmation to share that supports this time that we just took.
Yeah, so affirmations is, the way they work is you read them out loud and therefore confirming to the universe, and with the word as a word beginning. In the beginning was the word. So take a picture of it, write it down, and be with it over the course of the next few days or week until we meet again. All right. So please repeat after me. Where my focus goes, source energy or God flows. Right now, I focus on beliefs that feel good and serve me. I am worthy of all good all the time. Let's do that one more time. Where my focus goes, energy, source energy, God flows. Right now, I focus on beliefs that feel good and serve me. I am worthy of all good all the time. Powerful. Yeah.
Yes, I am worthy of all good all the time.
Yep.
Where my focus goes, source energy, God flows. Uh, we used to listen to that a lot from our friend Kenneth Soares, who liked to really amplify um, that spiritual law. And so, shout out to Kenneth Soares, who I think is somewhere in Australia or
Is that
someplace.
where he is?
I think so.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where it was from.
Very, very soothing voice who definitely knows how to convey a powerful affirmation. You
And
can
he always
check
has
him.
the megahertz, the right megahertz for his affirmations playing.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Yeah. It's already serving me. So hopefully it will continue to serve you through the week. I know that it will. It's a spiritual law. So thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you,
So,
brother.
any other thoughts, Mark, before we get into this talk?
I'm just curious to hear what you have to say. I wonder what do we get out of arguing for our limitations? Why do we do it? It's got to be some kind of benefit in doing it, right? Otherwise, we would do it.
That's right. And actually, um, as what I'm going to cover today is, what do I mean by arguing for your limitations? And yes, exactly what you said. Why do we do it? And what is in it for us, right? We really we would want to think about that. Why do we do it? And what's in it for us? And so why should we stop? Right? Why should we stop? And how do we stop? And if we do stop, what can we expect? What can we expect? So these are the things that I want to cover today. So definitely may call you in along the line to get your thoughts and opinions. So hopefully those of you who are joining, you're taking some notes as we go, writing down your questions, thoughts, and comments so that we can come back and discuss them. Because definitely want to hear your opinion and point of view on this as we navigate why we should stop arguing for our
Yeah.
limitations.
Is that another way of saying scarcity? Limitations, another form of scarcity.
Uh yes, and so let me jump in
Never
here.
let you get your
Like
talk.
so, like I said, today we're going to discuss why arguing for your limitations is inconsistent with who you really are. You are a creative expression of source, a divine manifestation of God. Source energy, God, I use these words interchangeably. And source energy, God is an energetic, loving, all powerful. That's that omnipotent, all knowing. That's that omniscient, and everywhere present. That's that omnipresent, unseen source, but that's experienced in physical manifestation. Source energy, God is present in you, through you, as your eternal inner non-physical being self. So that's what I was talking about in the postures of presence of this non-physical eternal inner being self that is contained in this physical body suit. It is important to remember, particularly for those of us who may be dealing with people who have transitioned out of their physical bodysuit, but that are still in existence as their eternal inner non-physical being self. Today's spiritual law, the spiritual law that will ground us today, is contained in our affirmation. The spiritual law means irrevocable. Spiritual law means unchanging. Spiritual law means applicable to everyone. So you can listen to our talk about the spiritual laws to review what it is we mean by spiritual laws. But absolutely foundationally true for all through all time. Today's grounding spiritual law is our beliefs become our reality. And consistent thought patterns become our beliefs, whether we want them to or not. So again, our beliefs become our reality, and consistent thought patterns become our beliefs. Because where focus goes, source energy flows. This is why and how our thoughts become things. I'll give you an example. A client of mine grew up with limited material resources. Another way of saying poor, didn't have a lot, limited material resources. Her parents argued about bills. She often heard, "We can't afford that." She didn't have a lot of things that her friends had. She didn't get to do a lot of the things that her friends did. And then when she became an adult, she lived paycheck to paycheck. She worried about money constantly. She often could not afford the things she wanted. Friends would sometimes invite her places and she'd refuse because of lack of money. She was saving. She would go with them shopping, go to dinners, and be frustrated about what she believed she couldn't have, shouldn't buy, shouldn't order. The pattern continues throughout her life. She feels like she cannot have what others have or do what others do because she doesn't have enough money. Well, why is this happening to her? Is it fate? Is she unlucky? Is she just not smart enough to manage her money well? Or is it because money doesn't grow on trees? Is it because she doesn't pray enough? Pray correctly? Live the right life? Why? No to all of those. From a very young age, she was taught she did not have financial freedom, that she could not do, could not have what others had, couldn't do what others were doing because her family didn't have enough money. So this has been the recurrent, consistent thought pattern in her life. Thus, her belief about herself, about her life, has had this persistent focus and therefore a persistent vibrational energy of not enough, can't do, can't have. And this vibrational energy is attracting more unto itself. Where focus goes, source energy flows. And so her life experience has continued to repeat, repeatedly manifesting over and over. Her thoughts become manifest, and her beliefs become her life experience, which reinforces the belief, and so on, and so on, and so on. Another client recently shared with me that they were worried about an upcoming certification that they're seeking. It will take their career to a whole new level, but they're worried. They explained to me it's going to be an extraordinary amount of work, and it's got to be completed in a very condensed timeline. They are worried that they're not going to be able to get all this done, giving their other competing responsibilities. This is not the only thing going on in their life. I asked them if the timeline was reasonable. Is this something others have done before? They shared that it's a standard certification, particularized to fit, the individual's goals. And many have done it before, though it's still very particularized. Many have done it, but many have never tried to do it. They wondered, though, with those who have done it, was their situation similar to theirs? They weren't in a position to dedicate time to this full time to get this certification. Maybe others could. Maybe they had 100% ability to focus on the certification. This person would have to balance it between many other responsibilities, commitments, tasks, and an interest in maintaining their own self-care and well-being and health during the process. Was that just too much? They wondered. Could they do it all? So I ask you, can they? Can they do it all? Should they try to do it all? Well, I can say I've worked with this client for a very long time, and I know that their life is a series of successes at the highest level. I have seen this person balance all of these things that they are balancing now and more, and still accomplish their goals. So, from a leadership lens, I would counsel them that this is what people are talking about when they say imposter syndrome. And that certainly informs and lets you know you're not alone. But to truly get to the root here in reverse, I would say from a spiritual perspective, that this is arguing for your limitations. Why do we do this? Why do we take time to justify and explain? Why do we insist we can't have or do the things we want when we want them? Why do we seek to persuade ourselves and others about the many reasons we cannot accomplish our goals? What do we get out of being right about something we don't want to be true? Well, we get to be right. We all want to be right, right? We get to complain. We get sympathy. We get attention. And we get to be the victim. So why should we stop? Why should we stop arguing for our limitations? Well, I'll give the countermeasure to all that we get out of it. And I'm sure you all could come up with some more of what we get out of it. Like I said, we get to be right when we argue for our limitations. But the question is, would you rather be right about being broke, not having enough money? Or would you rather travel the world, have the job, home, health, life of your dreams? Which would you rather be right about? We get to complain. Oh, a pity party is so much fun. And I am no stranger to this. Go out with your friends, sit around, happy hour, with or without alcoholic beverages, and talk about all the stuff that's not working in your life. Oh, at the job, let me tell you about all the BS I had to deal with this week. Oh my goodness, my kids are driving me crazy. You won't believe such and such said, such and such did, such and such didn't. There are no good men, women, or non-binary partners out there. My man, woman, or non-binary partner is not doing this, that, or the other thing. They should be doing this, that, and some more of this. And we call this a good time. Happy hour. Complaining hour is really what it should be probably called. Grievance and griping hour is really probably more aligned, because we spend most of it often when we're gathering with friends and family, reaffirming all the things that make us feel bad, but wonder why it doesn't make us feel better. But we do get sympathy and attention out of it often. But this is the thing. If we slow down enough to monitor our feelings while we're at these grievance complaint hours, after receiving the sympathy and attention for all the things that aren't going right, the people that are getting on our nerves and causing us stress and strain, after we get the sympathy and attention for that, do we honestly feel good? In our body, I mean, in that moment. Is the feeling in the body a good one? Is it a high or low vibration? Is our spirit raised? Are we more or less tense? If we were to do a body scan like we just did in the posture of presence, is our body tighter, or do we experience release and relief after we do our complaining, grieving, griping? Something to think about. And as I said, we get to be the victim. Now, many of you probably winced when I said, when we argue for our limitations, why do we do it? What do we get out of it? It's because we get to be the victim. A lot of people don't like to think of themselves as a victim. Well, sorry, not sorry. It's true. I mean, think about it. What do you call someone who has something bad happen to them that they didn't want or ask for and could not control it happening? A victim. When we say because of money, this bad result occurred, because of my job, my boss, my sister, my friend, my husband, this bad result happened. Because my kids did or didn't do this, this unwanted result. We tell ourselves, our friends, our family, everyone on social media, and really the only listener that matters, that we believe that something or someone outside of ourselves is controlling our lives in ways we don't like. Victim. So, do you want to be a victim or the victor in your life? So, how can we stop? And then what can we expect? Back to our spiritual law. Where focus goes, source energy flows. Where focus goes, source energy flows. Doesn't matter the topic is something we're focusing on, is something we want or something we don't want. It's where we're focusing on. We're focusing on living the life that we dream in abundance, or are we focusing on the opposite? Where focus goes, source energy flows. That means the cause starts here, right at home. Our thoughts become our beliefs, which become our reality. So we must transform our beliefs and take ownership of our lives based on our understanding of the spiritual laws, not on our current circumstances. In Buddhism, this is taught as the fourth noble truth to end all human suffering. Because that's what we're talking about here. Being a victim, not having what we want out of life, being stressed and worried, constantly experiencing not enough of this, not enough of that. That's human suffering. So in Buddhism, the fourth noble truth taught by the Buddha to end all human suffering was that people must follow what is called the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path: 1, right understanding; 2, right thought; 3, right speech; 4, right action; 5, right livelihood; 6, right effort; 7, right mindfulness; 8, right concentration. Now, even though you may not know what these things mean in deep and haven't studied Buddhism, I have to believe that just hearing me read these off: right understanding, thought, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, concentration, that if this was the way you lived your life every day, all day, how could it not be good? There was a lot of rights in there. How could it not be good? It's a practice. It is your lighthouse. It is your guide. So now I want to share how, as a practical application, you can begin to transform the way you live, the way you talk, the way you act, what you're thinking, to have that in alignment with who you really are and what you really want in life. So it means we must accept that our circumstances begin with what we believe. We have control over what we believe. We know what's right by how it makes us feel. We know what's right by how it makes us feel. It really is that simple. Our feelings that American Western values often and in many respects teach us to shy away from is what's drawing us away from our source energy and the life that we want to lead, experience, and share. We know what's right by how it makes us feel. Source energy is giving us direct 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week, 24/7 feedback. Source energy is an omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent thought partner, counselor, advisor, all knowing, everywhere present, all powerful. When we pay attention to the actions and thoughts that we have, and whether they feel good or feel bad in our body, in our spirit, we are getting the guidance we need to live our lives, to make our lives reflect the things we really want and less of the things that we don't want. So spend more time on pure, good feeling thoughts and actions, because that means you're in alignment with source energy, God. When you have bad and uncomfortable feelings, this is telling you that that thought, that action is different from source energy, God's awareness of that situation. When you have a bad feeling in the body, when it feels uncomfortable, when you find yourself getting angry, frustrated, envious, being in comparison, pointing fingers, and you have that feeling in your body, this is source's way of saying, hold on, my view on this matter is different. There is a different option here. Remember, I call it SAM, our spiritual alignment meter. This is your inner being saying how you should be thinking, approaching, experiencing, considering this circumstance, not something or someone outside of you. Now, I'm not saying that you should never listen to anyone else's feedback, listen to feedback from humans or other physical beings. I'm not saying that you should never listen to anyone else, because if source is telling me anything, why do I even have conversations with a counselor or a therapist or a friend? They don't know. I should just look inside. Well, yes, you should look inside. And this is not an or, this is an and preposition. The one source, God energy, is also within them. And so source can communicate and does communicate with you through other physical beings. Well, how do you know when source is communicating with you through other physical beings? Well, you know the feeling. It's happened to you. Somebody will say something and you'll be like, ah, yes. As Oprah used to say, that's an aha moment. Like, I just feel like, ah, yeah. This is the feeling that causes you to say in response to someone, oh, yes, that resonates. Or have that sense that resonates with me. Or when we say to some situation or something, we hear, oh, yeah, that feels right. So the language already exists in our vernacular, in our common way. The opportunity now is to understand the basis for that, to connect to it and lean into it. Another example, when you have an inspired thought. Inspired is with a capital I, because inspired thoughts are divine thoughts that are coming from your source. Inspired thoughts are divine thoughts that are coming from your source. Inspired with a capital I. So say you have an inspired thought, a thought comes to you out of seemingly nowhere regarding something that you've been deliberating about, something you've been dreaming about, or just a novel idea. And then moments later, a beautiful bird just comes and sits and seemingly is staring at you. Or your cat just comes and seems to rub and nudge on you in a loving way, just at that moment that you just completed having this inspired thought. Or something comes on the television that coincidentally speaks to exactly what you were just contemplating in that thought. That's inspired thought. That is source energy communicating with you directly. Are you listening? Where focus goes, source energy flows through many physical sources. Where focus goes, source energy flows. So that's the insight. But as we say, words alone don't teach. It's all about the application. So that's the insight. Here's the application to get you to the results that you want. This is why and how we need to stop arguing for our limitations so that we can thrive and live, as Mark likes to say, a life by design and not by default. This is how you become the victor leading your life and not the victim of your uninspired beliefs. So I think we've got the IARs coming up. So number one, stop arguing for your limitations. Stop arguing for your limitations. Two, do an inventory of your unwanted circumstances. I don't have enough of this. I don't have enough of that. This thing is going to be too hard. I'm not going to be able to do it. Nobody's going to give me this. I'm not going to get that opportunity. Do an inventory of your unwanted circumstances. And then assess and determine what is the belief that is not serving you that is associated with that circumstance. What is the belief behind that unwanted circumstance? You want to identify that. And after you determine that, notice how it makes you feel. Next, you want to notice how it makes you feel. It's likely that you're not feeling appreciation, satisfaction, happiness, or joy about this. Now, I want to caution you. When you're doing this inventory of your circumstances, you determine what the belief is, then you check in on how it makes you feel, and you realize it's a bad feeling. There is no need to track the origination of the belief. There's no need to now go into some deep analysis about or discussion about, oh, it's society, it's racism, oh, my parents, oh, my religion. There is no need to track the origination of the belief. It is what it is in this moment, regardless of how you came to the belief. Going backwards and thinking about all of that just places more focus on what you don't want. Where focus goes, so source energy flows. So all that time spinning it back is likely going to have you spinning up more focus and energy on that what you don't want. So just notice how it makes you feel. Next is to release the belief. Well, okay, Naomi, that sounds great. How do we do that? Not so easy. Well, yeah, this is the work. This is the practice. This is the intentionality. First, stop talking to your friends, your family, and on social media about it. Stop pontificating on and on and on about all the things that you don't want in your life or coming up with reasons why you shouldn't have, can't do. I know it's hard to stop thinking about things that are important to you that you're fearful about in the beginning. So just begin by noticing those thoughts and don't beat up on yourself when you're having those thoughts. Just notice. When you notice you're having these thoughts that don't serve you, that you know are reinforcing old beliefs that you are ready to believe, ready to release, simply by acknowledging, I'm ready to release this belief. I know this thought is associated with that old belief. Just notice it. And then try to meditate, breathe. Maybe you go and exercise or think about something that makes you smile. Change the subject. Think about something that always makes you smile. Something, someone, remember something good. Change the subject. Focus on something else entirely. Or take a nap and you're not thinking about anything. You don't want to continue to focus on that which isn't working. Because in the early stages, it's really hard to go from thoughts that you've been having from years that get reinforced by those around you, a particular thought of, I can't pay my rent. It's hard to go from, I can't pay my rent to, I have more than enough money to pay my rent. When you open up your bank app and right there, that bank app is not reflecting the dollar figure you would want it to reflect to pay your rent. It can be very hard to go from there to there. So we're not going to do that. I'm not asking you to make some affirmation that you don't really believe, because source responds to how you feel, the energy vibrational signal that you are sending, the one you're actually sending out, not what you say. So if you're feeling like I can't pay my rent because your app says there's not enough money in the bank, simply saying I have enough when you don't really believe it is not going to change your situation. We're talking about actual energetic vibrations. So instead of saying something that you don't believe in that moment, just get off the subject of your rent entirely in your mind, in your conversation. Switch to an activity or subject that genuinely makes you feel good. What you want to do is start the energetic flow of good in your life. The energetic flow of good in your life. This is how you release the belief. Next, be self focused and embrace good feelings. The whole analysis that we just talked about acknowledging, noticing thoughts that reflect beliefs that you no longer want to hold. This involves being self focused, being conscious enough of your thoughts, be self focused about how you're feeling. When I think about this, does this make me more tense, more worried, more scared, or do I feel good? Being self focused and then noticing what kinds of thoughts create good feelings and those that don't. Because when you are having those thoughts that create bad feelings and you want to think about something else, you want to know where to go. What are the things that actually make me feel good? So be aware and embrace good feelings. Release beliefs of insufficiency, lack, not enough, should do this, I should do that. Feelings of unworthiness. Beliefs, thoughts that vibrate on this level is what we want to notice and begin to shift away from. Focus instead on ideas and activities that feel good in your body and spirit. Abundant materiality, meaning things, flow from abundant energy. You've got to have the abundant energy first And that's actually where the abundant things come from. So, I often think about, they say, good people out there who are seemingly trying to do the right thing at the right times, they don't have any money. And then there's all these people that seem to have all of this wealth, and they're not good people. They're not nice people. They're not generous. That doesn't seem fair. Why is that working out that way? Well, because there's a misunderstanding of the spiritual law. Again, where focus goes, source energy flows. These individuals believe that they will have, they believe that they can get, they focus on that. They don't focus on lack, not enough, shouldas, unworthiness, insufficiency is not what's present for them. And so their circumstances are reflective of that. Now, there might be other areas of their life where they don't have the love, the friends, some of these other things, but they have that because that's what they're focused on. So that's the reason for that disparity. It is consistent with the spiritual law. Don't forget, your inner being, source energy, God knows everything you want and focuses on what you focus on. So make your focus and beliefs reflective of the life that enlivens you, the life that is fun for you, that makes you laugh, smile, and feel appreciative. Imagining things is good. Not in your circumstance yet. Imagine it, feel it, have it be live and real for you in your imagination, because you are here to imagine, create, feel joy, and thrive, which is all accomplished through your alignment with source energy. This is the most powerful form of both fulfilling your purpose and social activism, because your positive energy and positive manifestations will transform this planet. IAR summarize. Stop arguing for your limitations. Inventory your unwanted circumstances. Determine the uninspired beliefs associated with them. Notice how it makes you feel. Release the belief. Be self-focused. Embrace good feelings through thoughts and actions. And imagine, create, feel joy, and thrive. Namaste.
Awesome. Awesome. So 7 steps, applications for stopping arguing for limitations. Can you go from step 1 to step 7?
Can I do what? Say that again.
Can you go from step 1 right to step 7?
Yes, after much practice. Yes. So yes, it is possible, but much practice, right? If this is the first time you're embarking on this, like I said, if this has been some limitation that you have believed, even if that belief wasn't conscious and you weren't conscious of how it was playing it out in your life, but you have been believing it, since you were a small child, and now you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Today, you may not be able to go from step 1 to step 7.
So,
which is why we've got the steps in between. But the more you do these steps, the faster you will go through them. And you will still be going through these 7 steps, but the time between 1 and 7 will shrink, and can be in instances almost seemingly instantaneous, such that, some limiting belief thought comes in your mind. You notice it immediately. You're like, oh no, we don't do that anymore, and let it go. And in the moment that the truth of your reality is something totally different, something that creates joy and reflects a life that will, be reflective of thriving.
Yeah. I'm curious, any thoughts for the audience that is listening, any thoughts about one more on this, releasing the belief. So notice how it makes you feel. The belief, the unwanted beliefs, kind of sounds like judgment to me. Like judgment, you're judging yourself or how you should feel, what you should have done. Um, so is releasing judgment and releasing the belief, is that the same thing?
So releasing belief, I would say, is distinct from releasing judgment because one, it says to inventory your unwanted circumstances. So if you've determined that you started with an unwanted circumstance that you determined was a circumstance that was unwanted for you, then you said, well, what are the beliefs associated with that? And then you noted, how did it make you feel? And if it didn't make you feel good, then this is actually something that you don't want. So it's not a judgment here. It is an acknowledgement that there's things happening in my life I don't want. And there's a belief I have that is reinforcing that and promoting it. And I don't want to have that experience anymore. So it starts with a decision that I don't want to have that experience anymore. And it is this belief that's not serving me. So I wouldn't consider that judgment. I would consider that just an analysis. And it doesn't feel good. And I want to feel good. So I'm not judging myself. I'm just objectively making a determination that I would rather feel good than bad. I'd rather have circumstances that I want more than circumstances that I don't. And this is the theme that is creating that. And so if this is the cause and I don't want that anymore, then I let it go. There doesn't have to be any judgment around it.
Okay. One more question. I'm taking all your time. What is it that you're imagining in step 7?
Whatever you want to that feels good. Whatever feels good.
Okay. I said we don't need that comment up there.
No, I'm trying to actually delete it.
Yeah. Imagine, create, feel joy, and thrive. So what are you imagining? A different belief? What are you imagining?
Whatever you want to that feels good. You might be imagining this is the life that you dream about, the dream part. There is a way that when you're a small child, you imagine all kinds of things. And then as you get older, you don't think you have time or the ability or the right to sit and just imagine things that are not in your reality. That there's a way that we can be taught that it's irresponsible for me to sit here and envision a life where every weekend I fly to a different country because that's what I want to do. And that I just spend time thinking about that. Well, why don't you go clean the house or go get some groceries or wash some clothes or watch TV? That our imagining is done through others' experiences, through television and music. And we can't create from that space. Where focus goes, energy flows. So when we imagine things, that's creating a vibrational energy that becomes a reality. And without taking time to imagine, we are limiting the options of our experiences.
Got it.
You asked in the beginning, what do we get out of arguing for our limitations? What would you say now?
The haters. I think you hit it on. You talked about it. Sympathy, and identifying as a victim, being right. And then I think just kind of weighing or judging how important is being right is the thing, right? Like, is it necessary to be right? Is that what you want to be right about? Right? I think that would be the question. Is that what I want to be right? I want to be right about that I'm not worthy or that I'm not enough. And I don't think so.
Yeah, I think this gets right to the question that you've got here on the screen. So Monty B. Third says, is it helpful to rehearse in our mind to respond to haters if we feel the potential of a verbal attack or debate, disagreement of some kind? So the question is it helpful basically to clap back? Is it helpful to spend time in our mind thinking about how we're going to respond to somebody who is not supporting us or in our corner? And the answer to that is, I don't know. You tell me. Is it helpful? How do you feel? How do you feel in your body, not in your mind, literally? As you are rehearsing in your mind, and I am no stranger to this. I like to say I live in my head. So when things happen that throw me off kilter, I have spent many waking hours and nights going through what I'm gonna write in response, say in response. So I definitely can relate to this question. And for me, it does not feel good in my body. Like I said, sleepless nights. I can't sleep. I can't focus on anything else that I want to be focusing on because I'm thinking about what I should say, what I'm going to say, how the nerve of them, why did they say, why did they think they could say? I've got to show that it does not, just even recounting this fictitious example. If I check my blood pressure, it would be higher. Probably if I check my pulse, it would be higher than was before I started thinking about this. So there is something that is occurring in my body, and in these broad categories of positive and negative, which are very broad categories. Yeah, capturing a lot of feelings and
And he
instances.
said it feels like worrying.
Yeah, is it more on the positive scale or more on the negative scale? For me, more on the negative scale. And you said feels like worrying. And is worrying more on the positive scale or more on the negative scale? I interpret
Do
worrying
you
more
have
on the negative
to
scale.
respond to the haters or to those that disagree with you?
So
What,
this
what,
is what this is what I'm getting to.
I'm
That
saying, what's the other option?
this is what I'm getting to is that there's no have to. You can do whatever you want. But again, do you want to argue for your limitations or do you want to thrive? If focus goes, if energy flows where focus goes, if you're focusing on responding to haters, which creates worrying, which creates a bad feeling, therefore a bad vibration, and bad vibrations attract more bad vibrations. Is it more important to you to be right with these haters? Is it more important to actively speak to and respond to these haters, knowing that that's a negative energy that's going to bring more negative energy and less of what you want in your life? Or is it more important to you to feel like you want to feel in your body and have a good life? What they say is what they say. What they do is what they do.
Now, what if these
You're going to
haters
do
or people that
you and be
disagree with
happy.
you?
I have just come to, and again, there's no judgment. I have
What
just
if
come.
the folks that disagree with you, and I don't know if this is the case, Monty, but somebody that you care about, like your partner or a loved one, a good friend, do you
Just they
just
disagree with you? What do you
yeah?
what's so if they disagree with you, what's the more
Do
to
you
say
just
more?
ignore what they say, their thoughts? You're not engaged in that conversation.
You can engage in a conversation. Again, it's not simple. All this, always this, or all that. Because the question is, when you engage, how do you feel? Are you able to have a conversation about areas that you disagree upon and still feel good in your body? Because that's certainly possible.
I
Like
mean,
right
I
now.
often say we can agree to disagree, but I wonder if I'm really as I'm saying that, I wonder if I'm really okay with that.
Right. And so that's what you need to check in on. You might be saying, again, the universe responds to the actual vibrational energy and not what you say. So you can say to the other person, let's agree to disagree and move on. But if in your mind, like Monty B. Third is saying, you're still having the conversation, you're still like, but I know I'm right. And we disagree, but we didn't really disagree because what you had to say was stupid and what I said to say was smart. And so, okay, I said that, but You're bad for not getting what I'm talking about. Again, if we checked your blood pressure, if we checked your pulse, you know, are you vibrating at a level that is not positive energy? And then if later in the day, a check that was about to flow to you doesn't flow, an opportunity or a call that was about to flow to you doesn't come, you'll never know. So what are you blocking in terms of good energy that can't get to you because you're so focused on energy that's not serving you? So yes, you got to be right in your mind, but that's what I asked. Does it really feel good? And what's the cost? If you really want to thrive and live an experience where more ongoing, minute to minute, moment by moment, you're in a flow of good things happening to you. Because energy flows where your focus goes. And so this is the total shift in the way that we're thinking and believing and what it is we want in our life. This is
Well, that
where
energy goes where focus goes is kind of what I think KG Dean is saying here. They actively practice this. They notice they created a monster in somebody they're close to because of negative focus or complaining. They switched to a positive focus, and that person showed up differently, more satisfying.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's the law. It must. And that's not going to be limited to that relationship. That positive energy and satisfying will show up in areas of life that you may recognize or not recognize, depending on your awareness, just on your day to day. Is there more things that bring you joy? I find that I just am not as upset or angry or frustrated or worried as often as I used to be in life, like a lot less than I used to be. And I am able to move out of it when it does happen. It does happen, but I'm able to notice it. I really, when I notice it, like, I don't like this. And it is for me at this point empowering to recognize that I have control over that and that there are things that I can do. Now, depending on what the issue is, different strategies are employed. It may take a seconds to move into or days, but I'm actively seeking to move
Days seems
into
like
a
a
place.
long time.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
have yeah,
you
you don't no one else can relate to situations where you're upset or worried about stuff and you're worried for hours, days, weeks, months, years,
yeah,
a whole lifetime. How
yeah.
about that? Some people spend a whole lifetime in worry. So taking days to rebound in the scheme on balance, if for years I've been worried about something and now it takes days to let it go, that's transformation.
Yeah. Let's see, my dear. I think it is like when I feel threatened or misjudged, misunderstood by people who are labeling as something I'm not.
Yeah. And this is not to suggest to you that, you are here to be a space for people to treat you poorly. But there's more than one way of addressing that, right? Often we can remove ourselves from situations, right? And when we
Sometimes
can't
we can, sometimes we
and
can't.
when we can't
Like, yeah,
remove ourselves from situations, can you be in a situation and think differently? So we just heard that from KG Dean, a close person in their life. So that person's still in their life. That person didn't change. KG Dean changed the way she interacted with that person. And again, we always have control of our reactions. This is not easy for everyone to make an easy overnight if these are new concepts to taking ownership of your life and your circumstances. But we actually do get to control our reactions. So I'm going to agree with you, Monty B. Third. These people are threatening you. They are misjudging you. They do misunderstand you, and they are labeling you as something you're not. I'm not arguing with that. They are doing all of those things. Let's say they're doing all of those things. So now what? Are you going to give them your joy? Do they get to have full ownership of your mind, heart, and spirit? because I tell you, it is a path to dis-ease.
Yeah. Old saying I remember goes, your actions will prove who you really are. And then finally says, and I guess people's judgments are more about who they are and their experiences than what I'm doing, especially if I'm being falsely maligned. Yeah, I don't think we have control over other people's thoughts. I think we can change our interpretation of them to, instead of judging, maybe they just care a lot about me, right? They care a lot about my well-being, and they don't have to understand, right? Which I think is
And maybe you do
easier said
change that. But
than
more
done.
importantly is not whether or not what they think about you is good or whether they think about you is bad. It's what you do with that information and how you feel about it, right?
How
And
you
so
feel about
there
it,
is
right?
a way, whether they think poorly of you or think highly of you, you get to determine what you think of you. Only you can determine what you think of you. And as long as we are allowing outside sources to misunderstand, we are misunderstanding that out. And when we think outside sources are the determinant of how we have to live and feel in this life, it's actually not true. I get that we were taught this. I get that society reinforces this, but that doesn't make it true. Ultimately, when people are judging you, right, and maligning you, that is what they're doing. Now you get to choose. How do you want to feel when you get up in the morning? Do you want to feel good, or do you want to be swirling in all of the feelings that are associated when you think about these people and what they are doing? Because there are people on this planet who people malign, mislabel, misjudge, miss everything. And these individuals are like, get that dirt off my shoulder. I don't spend any energy thinking about that. None. Zero, zero, zilch. And I live my life based on the choices that I am making and what I am trying to achieve. And again, sometimes it's a situation where you can turn the circumstances that you're no longer around the people. Sometimes that's not as easily the case. Sometimes you're still going to need to be in relationship with those people, but they can't determine your feelings. You actually get to own and determine your feelings. Again, not
Well,
easy
I
for
think
everyone to hear.
that's the key thing, and that's the part that we struggle with, or sometimes remembering, is that people don't control our feelings. We do, right? And it's how much power do we give people to control that, right? It's like, am I just giving my power over to she made me, right? And it's like, no, she actually didn't. She might have said something, but you decided how to feel about what she said, right?
Yeah.
So maybe she said something that was uncomfortable, but you decided what to do with that being uncomfortable.
Right. But I don't want to get away from the message of the talk, because when that happens, you just want to notice it, not judge it or beat up on yourself for having that feeling. And in that moment, you may not be able to reinterpret it or re-say it, or just tell myself, I don't care about what they're saying about me. I don't care. No, you do. In that moment, you care. Period. It is. But so I'm not saying go from I don't care about them misjudging or me aligning to right in this moment to from I care to I don't care. That's too far. You can't get there. You can't do that. You're not there yet. But what you can do is meditate to free your mind, exercise if that's in your practice, take a nap to stop thinking about it, or remember something else totally unrelated that you can focus on that makes you feel good, and start to put some distance there and continue your spiritual work. That's why I gave a series of steps to practice. Again, words alone don't teach. So just hearing this message is not going to shift your experience. Lived experience comes from application and practice. Good one. Thank you for sharing so openly and generously, Monty B. Third. Thank you for sharing, KG Dean. Really appreciate it. It is through personal examples that we're able to, relate and have this resonate. in our own lives such that we can incorporate this into our lived experience so that it becomes our lived reality. So, any other thoughts, comments, questions? This is all great stuff. Okay.
Oh, feel free to follow and subscribe to Niyah Center, the podcast, Engage, Educate, and Empower, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. Again, the podcast is Niyah Center, Engage, Educate, and Empower. You can find that wherever you podcast. On Facebook, you can join the Allverse Facebook group, which is about anything positive. You can post it's an open sharing site. Everybody's welcome to share it as long as it's positive. It could be a picture, a video, a song, a poem, whatever it is that you feel that makes you feel good. Nate likes to post little animal videos on there. So whatever makes
That's
you
what
feel
makes
good.
me feel good and smile. So I post what makes me feel good and smile. So Allverse Group is a place to go when those people are talking their talk and being their messy selves. Get on the Allverse Group page and find something there that makes you smile.
Right. You got one more question that came in. How do you become more with yourself in the presence of energy draining people at work?
Yeah. It's similar to what we're talking about here. One, I like to ground myself before I ever get to work. It starts there, right?
Yeah.
It starts there.
Would you say set your intentions for what your day is going to be before
That's right.
get into it?
That's right. So, I've got a commute going into the office, and even on the days I don't commute, when I'm just doing my morning getting ready process, I listen to spiritual thinkers and speakers that support me. Esther Hicks channels source through Abraham, talks a lot about the things we talked about today, but other spiritual sources to really just ground myself so that I can remember who I am, remember my spiritual truth. Yep.
Yeah, but I think when you're there at work with the people, I mean, it's how much do I engage with? Like, I have people around me always complain, and they're like, "Oh, you're the most positive person ever," and I don't think that, but they think that of me. And I think that I don't think I'm a negative person, but I think it's what do I try to focus on? Saying thank you and focus on appreciation, and try not to get too caught up in the gossip, even though sometimes you want to know what did they say, what happened. But I think trying to minimize that helps me become more with myself in the presence of people that are looking to do something different.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Niyah. Yeah.
No, I think that's good stuff. So in addition to setting an intention, like I'll set an intention, ease and fun today at work. That's what I want to experience, ease and fun. And that might seem counterintuitive if people knew, what I do on a daily basis. Ease and fun wouldn't, be in the job description. That's not on the job application. And we're going to have ease and fun, but that's going to be my experience because that's what I'm looking for during my work day. And so then things are going to come up, right? And things that are going to jar you. And so this is where compassion comes in and noticing that if you are grounded in your own self and where you are, it makes it easier when you encounter someone that's going off or just being messy or doing whatever, challenging presences, to notice it as that, as opposed to, I don't like so-and-so. So-and-so gets on my nerve. So-and-so is whatever adjective. To notice this is somebody who's being messy. This is someone who is wearing off and I don't know why. And no thank you on that energy, right? To notice it and have compassion that they're disconnected from their source right there. They don't have the spiritual tools that you have, that you're working with. So they're just in reaction to whatever circumstances coming through. They're just in reaction to whatever thought is coming through their mind, and to have some compassion about it, because there's been times and spaces and places where you've done just the same, right?
Yeah.
But now you're better equipped with tools that you can notice it, have some compassion, and then make a choice to not take it on, which in a moment you might not be able to do. But probably more quickly than that individual, you'll recognize, oh, I sent that email back. Oh, I didn't really mean to do that. That's not alignment. And don't beat yourself up, but just notice that faster you're connecting to, actually, you know what? I could have just paused and responded tomorrow. Or I could have not put all the thoughts that came to my head in print or said out loud all the things that I was thinking. I could have had a bio break, go get some air, get some coffee, come back. And at least from my end, not that you're going to change that person, so don't look to change them. Look to change how you are engaging in spite of how they're showing up and maintaining your own peace. Because when you don't, you think you're hurting them, the only person you hurt is yourself. Because again, where focus goes, energy flows. And so when the great things in your life aren't showing up, it is because of all that swirl of energy that's not working for you. And so you want to practice maintaining your energy of stability, even in unstable circumstances. That's becoming a master of your own life.
Yeah.
Great questions. Thank you.
Very interactive discussion today.
Really appreciate everyone. All right, Mark, you want to send us out with all
Dear
of this
Father,
feedback?
Dear Father, thank you. Thank you for the Sacred Space Sunday. Thank you for the opportunity to engage with each other and uplift each other, Lord, and exploring for our limitations and thriving. Thank you, Lord, that your source of energy is unfailing, unflappable, is infinitely abundant. It is the source of all that is and all that will be. We have the access to through you as us. Thank you for helping us, Lord, to be receptive with the words that were shared, the uplifting of ourselves, and put us in the space of receiving the thriving, right? Receiving, being receptive of the thriving energy. Lord, if there's resistance there, I ask that you help us to remove that resistance, Lord, in the areas that we seem to struggle with, whether it be our own thoughts and beliefs, other people's, caring about other people's opinions, their thoughts and beliefs, taking it to heart, taking others' opinions on as ours, will help us, guide us away from that in a way that supports us, and reminds us of who we are in you as you, who you created us to be, and the source that we are connected to, which is all powerful, all knowing, all presence, all everything, all good. We thank you for the affirmation that where our energy goes, you will flow. And we thank you for putting our energy in healing and love, joy, and peace, and appreciation, and understanding and compassion. In your name we pray, amen, and so it is.
And so it is. And thank you, KG Dean. Ease, grace, and joy to you as well.
Thank you, baby.
We will return on October 1 for the next Sacred Space Sunday. So until then, be well.
Be swell.